My girlfriend is pregnant, and her best friend has convinced her that she must go through my phone regularly to ensure I am not cheating. Posted by you/jazzlike male 1635. My girlfriend, Jen, and I have been together for 4 years. Back in April, 2 great things happened. We found out Jen is pregnant, and I closed on a house for us to move into. Our family and friends know about the pregnancy, including Jen's best childhood friend, Amanda. I will admit, I never liked the dynamic between Amanda and Jen, but it did not really affect our relationship since Amanda lived across the country. After finding out about the pregnancy, Amanda decided to move back home. We live in Jen and Amanda's hometown. Amanda has been back since late May, and all hell has broken loose. Jen has always felt a little self-conscious in our relationship. I work construction and do personal training. She feels intimidated by small girls, but I have no idea why. She is a sexy AF woman with amazing curves. Amanda has done nothing but play into Jen's insecurities and anxieties since being back. Jen and I have never been the tracking location couple or looking through phones couple. We always considered that a red flag in a relationship. Amanda has convinced Jen that she needs to start doing that. So, she has been looking through my phone on a regular basis and finding nothing. I have communicated my hurt and frustration and that I think she needs to distance herself from Amanda. She kept rebuffing my concerns. About 2 weeks ago, Jen again asked to look through my phone. I told her in no uncertain terms that this would be the last time she looks through my phone. If she again sees nothing suspicious, then she needs to agree to go to counseling and distance herself from Amanda. She agreed, looked through my phone, and found nothing suspicious. But she soon reneged on her promise to do counseling and distance herself from Amanda. I decided to move out. We are currently on a month-to-month lease in an apartment until renovations get done on the house I bought. I am staying with a friend until the house is ready, and then I will move in alone. Jen has asked me to reconsider. I refuse. She will likely need to move in with her mother, which is not ideal given the limited space, which I feel terrible about for my child. Top/relevant comments. Op replying to a downvoted commenter. Statistically, men cheat more while women are pregnant, and on top of that, pregnancy hormones take over emotions, rational thought, physical changes. It's a trip. Counseling is a good idea, medication might be, too. This would be like me accusing Jen of racism based on nothing more than the fact that I am black and she is white. And she refuses counseling, couples and individual. Would also not hurt to have a mature, supportive partner, instead of a tantrum throwing, moves out the house, abandoning jerk. Have no idea where you got that I threw a tantrum. I told her I was moving out and calmly moved out. She followed me crying, at one point grabbed my arm and yelled in my ear that I am not moving, and ended the night by trying to block the doorway to the apartment to prevent me from driving off. Does Op not realize there will be an actual baby, now, so he has to stop acting like one? What happens when single dad Op has to deal with projectile poop from an infant? Will he leave the country? What happens as I deal with it? I am the oldest of 4 and had 2 drug addict parents. Of the 2 of us, I have far more experience taking care of babies. Hate to break it to Op, but crap's not gonna get easier when you add a baby to your life, but it's better with a partner. I wish I felt like I had a partner right now. I do not. I was getting yelled at, screamed at, accused of cheating every which way because I do not want to have sex with this person who is treating me like crap, etc. In fact, our conversations since I moved out have drastically improved in quality. Downvoted commenter. Lying is not okay, but causing her house uncertainty and stress while carrying a baby is worse. She wants reassurance that you aren't cheating, and she wants to know she can still have sex with you safely and not risk her child getting STIs, and I don't understand why looking through a phone is a big problem unless you are hiding something. She's carrying a baby, this is major. If you are planning a future for her and your child, she should be listed as the owner as well. In a marriage you share everything. Here she's carrying a baby and risking her health, but you don't do anything to protect them and make their welfare worse. Op's response. She wants reassurance that you aren't cheating, and she wants to know she can still have sex with you safely and not risk her child getting STIs, and I don't understand why looking through a phone is a big problem unless you are hiding something. Jen has straight up told me if I ever searched through her phone, on the 3rd time, she would likely leave me. It may not be a big deal to you, but it is in our relationship. And to even think I would risk harming her or our kid is truly insane. If she thinks I am that sort of monster, she should not be with me. Period. She's carrying a baby, this is major. If you are planning a future for her and your child, she should be listed as the owner as well. I am not going to put her on the house if she is not on the mortgage. That makes no sense to me. In a marriage you share everything. Here she's carrying a baby and risking her health, but you don't do anything to protect them and make their welfare worse. I pay for 100% of all the costs associated with the pregnancy. Downvoted commenter. But no ring. No house. You like the control, but you aren't the provider or protector. Op's response. Lol. I am not the holdup on the ring, she is. She wants a very particular type of wedding, one that we cannot afford right now. It is her desire for a particular wedding that is the holdup. I was willing to go down to the courthouse 2 years ago. But I will take poor assumptions for $1,000, Alex. And again, I pay for 100% of the baby cost. How is that not being a provider? Is the house in Op's name? Yes, the house is exclusively in my name. How old are Op, Jen, and Amanda? Me, 29, Jen 26, Amanda, 26? Additional info from Op. At 18, I left home and took my 3 younger siblings because my parents are addicts. I scrapped and clawed to support all 3 and get them through high school and into college. On many occasions in those early years, I went days without eating so they could eat. Jen knows all this and saw some of it firsthand. In our 4 years together, my girlfriend has spent about 1/3 of the time unemployed. She never had to worry about her bills, food, or anything else. Why? Because I had her covered. There are no guarantees in life. But I can tell you the type of man I am. I am someone who would starve before I let my loved ones go hungry. And if she does not trust that now, she never will. Op adds an edit to his post. 1. I am fully aware that Jen has raging hormones. Trust me, I was dealing with a lot more than just her insistence on searching my phone constantly. 2. I have been doing individual counseling for 6 years. I want to do couples counseling, and Jen to do individual counseling. 3. I left because Jen lied to me. Update 2 weeks later. Jen and I met up earlier this week to discuss our relationship after she had sent some text messages. She apologized for how she behaved towards me. She particularly apologized for how she behaved when I moved out of the apartment. She said she will definitely stop searching my phone if I moved back in. She also said she was ready to get engaged. She historically had been the holdup in us getting engaged or married. I asked why she had started searching my phone in the first place. She said, she really did not know. Jen said she has seen me get hit on before by girls in my personal training work and shut the women down, even before we were dating. She trusted that I would do that generally, but she is feeling self-conscious about her body and thinks maybe I would be tempted to not do that now. Apparently Amanda's ex was a guy who got hit on by girls and would shut them down in front of her, but was secretly cheating with some of them. But, I said, if you saw me rejecting these women before we were even dating, why would that change now? Why would I risk my license? She said she did not have an answer. I told her, that is why she needs counseling, to explore that. I asked if in the 6 or so weeks of searching my phone at least every other day, if she saw anything from me to any other woman that even hinted at romantic interest. She said no at first, then laughed and commented that I did send a heart emoji to a group chat with Jen to a picture of her mom in a dress she just bought. But she admitted she has no suspicion whatsoever that I am trying to get with her mom. She said she is not ready for counseling and is not ready to give up on Amanda, but she is going to move in with her mom in the next few weeks. I let her know that I cannot move back in with her until at least counseling is being started. She understood. I am going to let the landlord know that we are terminating the lease at the end of September. She is sad we are not living together, but understood where I am coming from. She gave me a hug and a kiss, and that was the end of the conversation. She later sent me a text asking if I was okay with her still watching my videos. I had made some videos some months back for her viewing pleasure. I said sure. Her mom later texted and told me they had a long heart-to-heart about Jen and I's relationship. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. So basically she promised nothing, but you're getting back together. Op's response. We are not getting back together. Commenter. Then why are you talking about living together instead of how to split time and money for the baby? Op's response. She asked me what it would take for me to consider living together again. I gave her my conditions. She is still refusing those conditions. We are at 22 weeks. We do not need to talk about custody and child support yet. Plus, I am going to have my lawyer handle that when we get to that point. Downvoted commenter 2. So you've gone from not getting back together to possibly getting back together. You can see how, as readers, we are getting mixed signals, so imagine being in your ex's shoes. You've given her hope, and what happens if you meet someone else while she worked towards counseling and cutting Amanda off, just so she can get back together with you? Op's response. I have always been open if she met certain conditions. It would seem strange to me to say, I am moving out because you refuse counseling and distance yourself from Amanda, and then she does those things, and me to say, I am not open to the possibility of getting back together. How does that make any sense? I have no idea where you are getting the notion that there are absolutely no circumstances where I would get back with Jen. Second update 2 months later. I have been asked by a number of people to give an update on the situation. There was not much to report until recently. Shortly after my last update, Jen had moved in with her mom, and I had moved into the house. Things had been going well, we were communicating, I was going with her to all the appointments, and we were generally getting along. But, we were not living together because Jen still refused my request for counseling and was distancing herself from Amanda. Well, about 3-ish weeks ago was my 30th birthday. I have never really celebrated my birthday. It was midweek, and I just went to work, had a couple of personal training sessions at the gym, and went home. I was in the shower, and someone was ringing the doorbell. I went and answered it, and it was Jen. She had some groceries with her and insisted on making me dinner. I have been very particular about enforcing boundaries with her because, in a lot of ways, she is behaving like we are still together, like before I moved out. She could sense my hesitation and stated that she would just be making me dinner, as a friend. So, I agreed. I turned on a movie while we cooked together. After dinner was done, we sat in front of the TV, ate, and finished the movie. We talked for a little bit after the movie was over. She then said she needed to use the bathroom. I assumed she would leave afterwards. I began cleaning the kitchen, and she came up behind me and began grabbing my D. I turned around, and she was in a lingerie set she knows I love. I asked her what she was doing, and she said, "What does it look like?" She grabbed me again, but I told her to stop. She said, "You look like you like it." I told her again to stop. I pulled her hands off of me and told her to leave. She looked dejected and like she was about to cry, but left without saying anything. A couple of days later, I called her to talk about it, but she did not answer. I called her a day later after that call because that was the day of the next prenatal visit. She sent back a text and told me not to come. The next week I called again about the prenatal appointment, but she told me not to come again. On Sunday of this week, she finally called me back. She asked who I was cheating with. I told her I was not cheating. She asked who I was sleeping with, and I told her no one. She demanded to see my phone again, and I told her I would not let her see it. She yelled that I was obviously sleeping with someone and lying to her. I told her I was not, and if you do not trust me, we probably just need to learn how to co-parent from here on out. She agreed. So, we are officially done. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. She thoroughly self-sabotaged the whole relationship. Sad, but her insecurities are out of control. I would reach out to her family and express your concerns for her mental health, just so someone around her can be aware of your concerns, especially after the baby is born. PPD can be intense. Ops response. Her mom is fully aware of everything, and she is living with her mom now. Commenter 2. What race are you guys? A comment hinted you're a black man, and she's a white woman. If so, I have a feeling she's going to go for full custody, and you're gonna get slammed with terrible custody terms. Ops response. I am black, and she is white. I do not think I will end up with terrible custody. I have friends who had the same dynamics and ended up fine custody with far more contentious situations. We are in a city where black judges are the norm. Commenter 3. Sadly, this is the result of not staying away from Amanda and refusing therapy. I wouldn't doubt that this was Amanda's idea of a test. I'm sorry, man. I hope you can co-parent well with her. Remember to cover your back, get everything in writing no matter how small. You'll never know what you'll need, heaven forbid, in a courtroom.